Welcome back to Simply Southern, where it's time for another question and answer session with our vegetable and herb guru, Sidney Phelps of Bonnie Plants.
Sidney, it's great to have you here with us today.
Good to be back in.
Now, we got a question on Facebook from Crystal Slayton. She says she would love to grow lavender and parsley. How does she get started?
Yeah, so first thing first, well, I want to make sure that we've got plenty of space. Lavender and parsley, you've got a couple of different things you can do with that. Lavender's probably the more finicky of the two. It's a difficult herb to grow. It likes more aerated soil, not as compacted, and also likes to be dry. So you can really overwater lavender, and that's where people a lot of the time are unsuccessful with it. But it's becoming more popular because of essential oils, so more people want to have that in their home. So good sunny spot for both. With parsley, you want to keep it outside for sure. So raised beds, containers, even in the ground. Parsley will get big. It's very easy to grow, so just basically have it in a good sunny spot that's getting at least 5 to 6 hours of sunlight a day. Regular water, depending on how you're planting it, whether it be in a container, check to make sure you're not overwatering it, and then feeding it every 5 to 7 days. Constantly with some type of plant food will be good. Lavender the same way. You can do it indoors or outdoors. Make sure that you're keeping it dry. Also feeding it about every 10 to 15 days. And then just really monitoring it. You want to watch those very closely. The only thing you have to make sure with parsley, you're going to think something is wrong with the parsley, but most of the time you'll see caterpillars coming in, eating it back, and they're basically going to start setting cocoons for butterflies to come out. So they're really good for pollinators.
Sid, we got another Facebook question from Christy Sewell. I work at a daycare and the kids have set a raised garden. We were wondering what's the best way to grow tomatoes would be.
Okay, so growing tomatoes in a raised bed garden is very simple. So if you're doing this at a daycare, the first thing I would think of that they need to be doing is growing small tomatoes, snackers. So whether it be husky cherries, they're gonna get a little bit larger. They could really go with the really subcompact varieties that we offer, like a Tidy Treats or Sweet and Neat. They're really small. They're no bigger than a head of cabbage as they grow out, and they put on a ton of little cherry tomatoes, so it'll be great for the kids to go out. They can snack and they get that flavor. I think the more you look at things being bite-sized, or you start incorporating weird colors, so Cherokee purples, chocolate sprinkles is another small bite-sized style fruit that they could have that the kids could eat. If you're growing tomatoes, the biggest thing with that is making sure that they have some kind of cage to keep the tomato supported. That way it grows well. The subcompacts don't need anything, so it would be really easy for them to grow. But those are the easiest ways to do it. Following, make sure you're getting plenty of sunlight. Tomatoes need 6+ hours, and then just maintaining a regular feed schedule of those anywhere from 7 to 10 days.
All right. Now, since you mentioned feeding, the other question that we have came through our Instagram. ProudMom79, she says, wondering about growing tomato plants and what is the best plant food for vegetables and herbs, including those tomatoes.
Sure. So you got a couple of different options with this. Depending on how you're growing, first things first, tomatoes, a lot of people are doing that in containers now. So just any modern plant food, any kind of basically, if you want to go Miracle Grow, just regular blue water, that's what most gardeners use. It's going to be successful. One trick with tomatoes, you can use something that's going to have a higher phosphorus count, so that middle number, that's going to allow the fruit to be larger, so that's a quick trick that they can use.
All right. Well, Sidney, thank you so much for being with us and for answering these questions. Now, if you have a question for Sid, drop him a line at simplysouthern@alifarm.com. And if he answers it on the air, we'll send you a nice gift.
Thanks for watching Simply Southern today, but it's time for us to go. If you'll come back again next week, we'll head to Alabama's seafood capital of Biola Battery for the 70th blessing of the fleet.
And we'll find out how a chick in Lee County fulfilled her dream of serving gourmet chicken salad to people across the eastern half of the U.S. I'm Mary Johns.
And I'm Jim Allen. We'll see you next time.
Simply Southern is a production of the Alabama Farmers Cooperative and the Alabama Farmers Federation.